Hi there, and welcome to ReinardSynth episode number 12, and now in glorious 4K. Yeah, I upgraded my camera to Sony ZV-e10 and now my hard disk is fitting
sorry, while the other me is yapping about the virtues of the new camera I have, let's get back on topic.
It's really good. It's fast
Reinhard?
and the picture quality is fantastic, but the rolling shutter is a bit of
Reinhard.
an
Oh, sorry. Yippee, I found a D50 for a reasonable price to repair. The prices for a working D50 are still high nowadays, and even prices for fixer-uppers are higher than 8 years ago when I started with my hobby. So back in 2015 I could buy a D50 to repair for about 50 or 100 euros, but now, no chance. And it's a classic. It was one of the holy trinity of the 80s synths that defined the sound of that era. The Yamaha DX7, the Korg M1 and the Roland D50 of course. Who doesn't recognize the Pizza Go-Go sound? It dominated the airways when it came out in 1987 and you could hear the D50 on a lot of songs of the time. So a classic it is, but it is not working properly. So let's have a look at the symptoms, shall we?
I press tune function, I get a 2 function menu. I press the MIDI button, I get the MIDI menu. I press bank 1 as if I press the tune function. I press 2 as if I press the MIDI. It's like I press right and now it's locked.
The second symptom was the keybed.
So the keybed only responds to key off commands, not key on commands. When I use MIDI, like here, it reacts perfectly fine.
This episode is about how to analyze these kinds of faults and of course how to repair them. This story will have an happy end, a fully working D50. So sit back and relax and get a cup of coffee or tea or beer and some water.
Whatever.
How to approach this? Well, first things first,
Thou shall measure voltages.
but the PSU is just fine. Well then, the two faults can be linked to these non-overlapping functional errors in the schematics, so we're going to have a closer look at these. First, the front panel and LCD unit are connected to the microprocessor via a proprietary gateway chip, IC28. I hope that this gateway is not malfunctioned because I fear these are unobtainium. But the LCD looks just fine and is also connected to the same gateway, so it doesn't look too bad. If this IC would be bad, the LCD would have probably issues as well, wouldn't it? Second, the keyboard is scanned by a microprocessor, which is the own RAM on the Dynascan board, which feeds all keyboard events directly to the main CPU. There might be solder joint issues or oxidized connectors, etc. So let's do a visual inspection first.
Someone has been here before and fucked up. See that? That's my theory. Do this. Yeah, there we go. It was a short. Perfect. So now that we have solved the main problems, let's focus on the touch-ups. So one thing is that these two keys have an uneven velocity response, so we're going to clean them, and actually we're going to clean the whole keypad. The key transpose button isn't working, so we're going to replace that, and actually we're going to replace all the buttons because, for instance, this number 5 here is flaky. The brightness of the LCD, let's see if we can replace the LED, lighting it up to have a more brighter screen. And of course the top of the joystick is missing, so we're going to replace it as well. And that's what we're going to do. That's all that's left. Yay!
I wanted to brighten up the LCD a bit because it was rather dim. But lucky me, I found a spare D50 LCD in my spare LCDs box. I put it in and found that it was much better than the original one, but still not super bright. I first thought about replacing the background LEDs, but after opening up the original backlight assembly, I found they mounted the LED substrates and bond wires directly on the PCB, so it's not really repairable. I then thought about using a similar low-cost 40x2 LCD from ByDisplay as I used in the Core Cam 1, but two things I did not like about it. First, the viewing angle of the LCD is not really great and the backlight bleed is very visible. The original LCD put into the D50 by Roland is a good quality LCD with a wide viewing angle and little backlight bleed. And second, it is bluish. The original D50 display is green and black, and from a keeping the same appearance point of view, it's a no-no. OLED then? Crikey, they draw 330 milliamps. I do not believe that the 5-volt rail of the power supply in the D50 has enough power for that. The original LCD display in the D50 draws just 30 milliamps from the 24 volt line. 24 volts? Yep, because the backlight is connected to the plus 12 and the minus 12 volt line, therefore 24. Then, shall I reuse a backlight from my stash of old 40x2 LCDs? Nah, they all draw more than 150 or even 200 milliamps, and the 5-volt line, as I said before, cannot support it. The power supply in the D50 just supplies 500 milliamp, and that's already used by the main digital logic. So, nah, forget it. I keep it as it is. Sometimes happens with the joystick of the D50, the top end, the knob, just disappeared. It's just gone. Okay, so let's get a replacement then. Let's see if we can find one on eBay. Nope, none found. Okay, let's do a Google search. Ah, got one. 36 euros? Come on, don't be silly. Wait, Thingiverse has a 3D model of it. That's interesting. I do not have a 3D printer, so I asked a colleague of mine who has one to print it for me. But he said that it is not printable and needs some rework. Anyway, I got a better idea. Let's make one from Lego.